Macklowe. He is reaching for the clouds. His latest project is 432 Park Avenue. It's going to be the tallest residential tower in the Western Hemisphere. Macklowe is considered the ultimate survivor. His business was hit hard by downturns in the 90s and in the recent financial crisis, but he has bounced back each time again and again. Harry Macklowe is now with us on the set. He's the CEO of Macklowe Management. Thank you for being here.
I'm very happy to be here.
This man, Mr. LaFrac, is a legend, but I don't think we've had you around this table before, so thank you for being here.
This is the first time I'm here, and I'm very happy to be here. Richard invited me, and it's exciting. I enjoy talking about 432 Park Avenue. The building is tall, the building is graceful, and for me it's very exciting. And we've been able in my career to do some wonderful buildings. The Apple Cube is perhaps
GM building,
the smallest building that we've built, and had the greatest amount of influence. It certainly moved retailing on Fifth Avenue, so the smallest building, surprisingly enough, had a tremendous and a profound impact. The tallest building now, which I'm lucky enough to be building, is progressing wonderfully. We're at the 40th floor.
Always big gambles for you.
Well,
why? You don't make small bets.
The development site was very difficult to acquire, and as we made those acquisitions, it became larger, and the real estate really demanded that we get the most out of it. The nexus, the very center of Manhattan at 57th Street and Park Avenue, really requires
in terms of making the math work. You gotta go sky high.
It requires a wonderful building, good architecture, and the ability to shape floors so that we can get views. Really is how we backed into this wonderful building.
How risky do you? I mean, given the ups and downs of your career, and you've had lots of ups and downs. We called you a survivor in many respects. Where do you put 432 on the risk spectrum for you?
I feel that it's a risk-free deal. The real estate was very expensive, but we're extremely well capitalized, very small debt, and the sales have been extraordinary. We've been able to sell more than half the building, and we're still 2 years away from completion. And the volume of dollars that we've created, in excess of $1 billion of sales, really is very heartening, gratifying.
Real quick, we have a new mayor in New York starting today. Well, he's not going to be in office today, but as of today, we do have a new mayor coming in. How is that going to change the real estate landscape for you as an investor?
A significant amount of our sales are New York domestic, and a also significant portion are foreign. The mayor, I hope, will be good for all of the people. I'm not sure that his campaign was as good as it might have been. He perhaps was more divisive than he should have been between them and us, we and them. We've had a past 12 years of administration that has been nourishing. It's been very friendly to the city and has invited both industry and people to settle here. We hope that this will continue. The mayor is extremely important. New York, in my opinion, is really the throne of the United States. It's the stable community where everybody wants to be here. Foreigners are really led to New York by their children. Their children have gone to college, they've gone to Brown, they've gone to Wharton, they work for the financial companies, they have homes in Long Island, parents want to come here and visit them. They will really continue to come, they'll continue to be in New York, and it would be great if we had a mayor who would continue policies that are friendly to people and not divisive.
Harry, the mayor-elect last night, when he gave his acceptance speech, made it clear that he was committed to a very progressive, he used that word in his acceptance. He said, I am committed to a very progressive program. In the past, he has spoken about the catering to the wealthy or the 1% that he felt that Mayor Bloomberg did. I don't think he's aware of kind of the math associated with the tax revenue and all the good things that come from that. But do you feel in the end that if the attitude and the rhetoric is negative, that will affect what you're doing?
I think it may slow things down, but no, I don't think that the mayor himself is going to, with policies that will be very difficult to enact.
Even if he wants.
You can't turn around the city either in a day. It really requires the approval of the city council. It requires the approval in Albany to raise taxes. So I think it would be a slower process. However, think about the rest of the world. And there, because there's been such profligacy in Europe, because the governments have turned to social programs that have virtually bankrupted the companies, those people want to come to the United States. And you see a vacuum occurring in Europe, and they're losing generations of talent. That talent is locating here in Chelsea and Tribeca in the East Side. The parents are following the children, and I would imagine that of the 500 or 800 billionaires in the world or more, probably 25 or 30%, perhaps even more, live in the United States or will want to live here. The mayor can bring people together as opposed to we and them, as opposed to saying, I want your donations will go and be spread in different parts of the parks. I want to give to the Central Parks Conservancy. My donation doesn't want to end up in migrating in Staten Island or in Brooklyn.
I've heard that Central Park is going to have a real problem. I've heard that anecdotally from my wife, who does some stuff down there, and things are going really well there. Now it has to be divided up differently or something. They're very concerned. Here, just one thing that you said, you talked about how divisive the campaign was that he ran, and maybe he'll walk it back from there. What about a 40% or a 40-point gain and winning 75% would cause him to second-guess the campaign he ran? It was, I mean, this worked, and all the rhetoric and everything that he did, I would think he'd be emboldened and almost feel like he has a mandate to pursue the things that he ran on.
I believe that he will try. I also believe that once you get in office and you see how the city runs, the city, after all, once you set aside the politics, is a business. As Richard said, he's disappointed in what's happening in Washington. I think we all would be disappointed if the city did not continue to run with checks and balances, with spending money and revenues that you're generating, and not going into excessive debt.
And providing the basic services, because in the end, if they don't provide the services, nobody will stay.
But if you believe him, and if you believe the campaign he ran, all bets are off on this. Maybe you'll have trouble going, but eventually, you say you can't do it right away. You could mess this place up in 4 or 8 years.
Oh well, we've seen irresponsible politicians. I have to quote my host, Richard. You lose confidence in somebody who is continually giving you a negative pitch. Somebody who is not thinking in terms of how to both build, how to nurture, and how to make things better for everybody, but for everybody.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing that on a national level, too, to some extent.
Well, yes, certainly so. But, the city is something different. First of all, it's grassroots, so you see what's happening every day. Secondly, you have a large enough political base with your city council and with Albany to provide a very sensible balance So if you looked at 12 years, Bloomberg's not had a fight with anybody. He hasn't had a strike. He hasn't had a fight in Albany. He's been able to ameliorate very difficult situations and placate all of the groups without pandering, because he was an independent.
And he's a pretty good businessman, as we know.
Very, very fine.
Harry, I got a personal question for you. You are 76 years young. What do you want at this point? And the reason I ask is, you've had empires. You've had empires fall, you've had empires rise, you've had empires fall again, and now you have this 432 project. What sort of drives you to do all this? What's the next sort of step, even after 432?
I think it's always the challenge. I'm youthful in my mind, so I don't really think in terms of the chronological accomplishments that I have. And as long as I'm capable, I look forward to continue to find projects that I can put my stamp on, that I can turn into something that would be better, something that would be exciting. Ups and downs we have. All of us in our business, the real estate development community, to a degree, are dreamers. A lot of what motivates us is, why not? Why can't I do that? I can do that. I can push this. I can create the Hudson Yards. I can build 50,000 homes on the Jersey Shore. I can do this, and to do it intelligently and to fulfill a need in the market is so terrific that it's an aphrodisiac. You continue to be challenged, and you want to do it, not certainly motivated by economics, but certainly that's part of it, but seeing it done, having that creation stand there long after you're gone, is something that makes, as they say, the game worth the candle.
Okay. Harry Macklowe, thank you for coming in this morning. Appreciate it very, very much.
Than't you for having me.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Right.
When we come back, the Twitter IPO is going